You know, I love being in the green room because it's where the magic happens. It's where I get to hang out. It's where I get to have fun. And thank God, nobody's wearing green today. I don't think anybody's wearing green today, but we are in the green room. Yes. Welcome, ladies. Say hello to everybody out there that's signing on. This is their moment. This is their time. And they all showed up today to help you change your life, change your business, and make a difference in the world. So we're going to find out who they are, where they're broadcasting from. Then I'm going to ask them the question, like, what is one of their guiding principles of life? What is one of their philosophies of life? So why don't we start with the one and only Judy, who's down there. What's up? Everybody say hi, Judy. What's up, Judy? All right.
Hey, guys.
All right, Judy, tell us where you're from and what is one of your guiding philosophies?
Okay, so I'm Judy King. I'm coming from Texas, just north of Austin, and a little bitty community called Salado, Texas. And I'm just happy to be with y'all. One of my guiding philosophies is we can all have infinitely more if we just tap into that power that's within us, even above and beyond what we could think or imagine.
Tell us a little, unpack that for a moment. You can't tell us we can have all if we do something. So take a minute, if you would, take 60 seconds and tell us, when you made that statement, what did you mean by that for the person that's listening right now? You said you can have it all if you tap into what's inside you. Talk to us about that for 60 seconds, please.
All right, so Ephesians 3:20 is kind of one of my life principle verses. And so that's where that comes from. So the power that drives me, my battery pack, is my Lord and Savior. But I know that he has deposited so many lessons within each of us, not just his power within, but his lessons that he's brought to each of us through every adversity, every good thing, every bad thing. He's brought it all to us for a purpose.
Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait till later on when you share a little more about that. Looking forward to it. All right, let's go all the way over to the one and only Jan. What's up? Now, folks don't know who Jan is. So everybody wave at Jan. Say, hey, Jan.
Hey, everyone.
Well, where are you broadcasting from, and what's one of your guiding principles of life? We want to know.
I am broadcasting live from Austin, Texas.
All right.
Yes, and my guiding principle, Shay, is love never fails. 3 small words, but can I tell you, to live up to that is a big, big job. But I believe with all of my heart that when we stay in that space of love, that you will never fail. Even if it looks like a failure, when you stay in love, you did not fail.
Love never fails. I can't wait to hear more about that. Thanks so much for sharing. Love never fails. Rhonda Wood. Everyone say hi to Rhonda Wood. Say hi, Rhonda. We're all meeting each other through the power of these fiber optic lines. Isn't that so cool? Like we can just, I wish we can give all of us like a virtual hug, but you watching out there, we want to welcome you. Rhonda, where are you broadcasting from? And what's one of your principles that guides you through this life?
Hi, everybody. I am broadcasting all the way from Upper Marlboro, Maryland, which is a few miles outside of Washington, D.C.
All right, Washington, D.C.
Yes. Yes. And so one of my guiding principles is don't put a period where God places a comma.
Tell us a little more about that.
Well, I think sometimes people, we may go through some experiences in our lives, some challenges or some obstacles, and then we're kind of, ready to abandon ship. We're ready to give up. We're ready to quit. We're ready to let go. But I think God allows us to go through certain things to show us what we're made of, and he wants us to keep going so we can kind of, see, it helps develop our character a little bit more and brings out things that we never knew that we had in us.
I love it. So just keep going. I'm loving it. For those folks out there like Dr. Sakisha Hollick, who's watching right now, Betty, who's always in the house. Betty, thank you so much for showing up. We're in the green room, by the way. This is when we just get to have a little bit of fun. So I'm going to go over to Melissa now, who's out there. And Melissa, tell us, where are you broadcasting from and what guides you through this life?
Che, I'm broadcasting to you from West Palm Beach, South Florida. So I'm down in the Sunshine State. We got a lot of sunshine going on. And I tell you, if I could hug all these women and you right now, I am feeling it so much. The energy is palpable. I'm so pumped to be here. One of my guiding principles is a quote from Maya Angelou, who is just one of my heroes. And I'm going to paraphrase it for you, but I've learned that people will not remember maybe what exactly you said or what exactly you did, but they will remember how you made them feel. And that is a guiding principle. That is something that drives me every day.
Melissa, for those folks that right now are taking time away from their family, they're taking time away from their kids. William, who's out there, Redmond is watching right now and is taking time from doing other things in his business. And they're watching. They tuned in because they want to understand how they can really improve the quality of their life. And that's why they showed up. How do you want them to feel? What do you want them to think as they tune in during this episode?
I tell you, the most important reason I feel we are on this earth is we're on this earth to have relationship with each other. I don't care if you are the Queen of Sheba, the King of Siam, or you are whatever the lowest on the totem pole, wherever you're at. I believe we are meant to be in relationship with one another. And if you are in a position where you can bring somebody along on your journey, if you are in a position to speak life into them, to give them hope, if you change one person, you change 1,000. And so I hope that William feels that tonight, that he has the power to impact others. Yes. I really hope that he understands, and that those that are joining us understand that our life is not our own if we're really living it right, and that we are here to bring everyone along with us. And so I'm excited to be on this journey tonight, and I'm excited to be with these warriors alongside of me, these champions.
Oh, I love being in the green room. This is where the magic happens. Judy, as you listen to Melissa over there, and she's making that point, I'm curious, what are you thinking right now?
That I am so excited to have met Melissa tonight, because I'm like, yes, one more warrior girl I can roll with.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, with that being said, for all those folks that are out there right now, they're just tuning in. Zakia's out there watching right now. Kelvin's out there watching right now. They're tuned in. They're ready. We're in the green room. We're about to go live. Y'all are going to hear from not only me, but all of them. And I promise you, they'll change your life if you let us. So we're going to get started in 5 is my favorite part. 4, 3, 2, 1. Uh-oh, I'm going to have to record. It's just I'm recording. What? Don't worry. There we go. We got a show. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen, as we get ready to go. Promise I made to my mom. I only did this message for one person, and that's my mom. This is for you, Mom. Love you. My name is Shay Brown, the happy entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Shay Brown.
Mic check, mic check.
All I do is win, no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up.
Yes. Yeah.
And they stay there. And they stay there, and they stay there. Cause all I do is win.
Well, it's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the happy entrepreneur, and welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the #1 business development and revenue focused late night show in the country where we're on a mission. And our mission is to inspire. Our mission is to empower. And our mission is to provide you, that's right, you, the entrepreneur, with all of the resources that are necessary to execute that big vision you have for the people you were called to serve. And I always like to talk about 3 visions that I believe that we all have, Dorian. 3 visions. One vision we have is we have a vision for ourselves. You know, the house that we want to live in, the car that we want to drive, or the clothes that we want to wear. And it takes resources, which means it takes revenue to get those resources. The second vision we have is we have a vision for the people that we love the most. And I was telling a story of this week of my son who recently got married last weekend, right? And how many of you know when you get married, it takes what? Resources. And he bought a house the week before that. How many of you know somebody had to write a check? Come on, somebody. And so it takes revenue, which means it takes resources to make that happen. But you, it's not about me. You might want to send your kids to a college or a school of your choice. You might want to write a check for a loved one's health care insurance. Some of you out there want to write a check for a cause you believe in so much, and it takes resources. I know, you know what it means. It takes revenue, right? And there's a third vision you have. I believe you have a vision for the people you were called to serve. And the story I like to share is the story of Noah. And then you don't have to be a believer. You can believe in whatever you want, so I don't want to impose my faith on you. But there's a character named Noah in the Bible. And let's say he's ready to get going. And right before he's getting going on this journey, God's giving him all the experience. He's giving him everything he needs. And then there's a knock at the door. And he's like, what's going on? Noah, over here. Sorry to report, Noah, but there's no hammer in the house. No hammer? No big deal. You know, we can still do this project, right? It's not that. Yes, you. Yes. What? I might as well confess there's no nails either. No hammer, no nails. Rule number 1 is what? Don't panic. What could it possibly now? I might as well let you know, Noah, that there's no people and there's no wood. Good luck on this journey. And maybe that's you right now. You do believe, you've got a purpose, you got a passion, but you need some resources. And this morning, this evening, this afternoon, no matter what time it is for you, they showed up today to give you some resources. So everyone on this panel say hi to the audience. Let them know you're up in the house, they're in the house, they're in the house, they're in the house. And they showed up to help you change your life or get to another level. Now, we're going to ask them and find out who they are. Don't worry, I'm going to start off with Judy King in a moment, right? Because Judy King has this title, and it was just 2 words. And I was trying to figure out, and you might be trying to figure out what this topic is all about and who is to serve. It was 2 words. It was lessons within. So let me go ahead and connect with Judy for just a second. I'm going to ask her the question, and I'm sure she'll answer. So Judy, lessons within. Why that topic, right? And what problem are you solving out there?
Well, for me, part of my comeback story was truly understanding that when I shifted my perspective from what had happened to me, that it actually happened for me because it brought something valuable to me. It deposited a lesson inside of me that would strengthen that comeback muscle that I would need for the next adversity. So every adversity that comes along drops a little hint and a little clue to build that muscle for something that you're going to need when the next thing comes along. So little show of hands, who knows, stuff might be coming. You either just got through something, you're headed into something, it's just part of life. And when we can figure out how to shift our perspective from what happened to us to what happened for us and look for that lesson within, then we're in it.
You can't just leave us hanging out there. You can't just say you go through something, you come back. And so the audience is probably wondering, can you give us a little bit of the backstory? I mean, you don't have to share something, maybe a challenge you went through and what lesson did you learn that helped you get to where you are now? And if you don't want to share it, it's okay. But, they want to know. They're like curious. You're like, and when you've been through something, adversity, and they're like, man, they can hear that passion. They're like, what's her story, Shay? So let's find out. Tell us.
Well, my story is juicy. It started when I was 6. And to be honest, I've come back from a lot of stuff. It started with that very first sexual assault when I was just a little 6-year-old. And then there were other perpetrators. I kind of overachiever, right? So I couldn't just have one perpetrator. I had a few. And so my comeback story is that no matter what identity began to get placed on me because of that I was broken, that I wasn't good enough, my comeback story was really understanding who I am and whose I am so that I can go take that lesson and see what it did for me and how I can take that to help other people. So I've been fired up for decades just to help other people learn that their story is for a purpose. It wasn't brought to them to demolish them. It was brought to them for a purpose to use to help others.
Would you say right now? Yeah. What'd you say right now to the person that's going through something right now, and as they're listening to you, they're like, you know what? I can relate to that, and that's been weighing on my mind, and it's been holding me back. What would you say to that person that's listening right now? What words would you give them? And as you do that, when you finish, I'm going to come over and I'm going to ask Jan what's going through her mind as well. But first, talk to that woman or guy that's out there that's like, darn, that's me. And it's holding me back right now. What would you say to him?
I would say that you are so fearfully and wonderfully made that you deserve to live your most fearlessly authentic self. So anything that's tried to get on you that is a counterfeit part of your identity, kick that to the curb and only rebuild your identity on what is true and what is sound.
True and
And
sound.
for
Jan, what's going through your mind as you're listening to Judy over there? Be, if I dare say, very open, very authentic. It takes a lot of courage to share her story, like right out the gate, as much as she could. That takes a lot of courage, and she shared it openly. What's on your heart?
Well, she must have a really great mentor. That's all I can say. She must have a really, really great mentor. You know, Judy's story, unfortunately, is many, many, many girls' story. And so, one of my first business coaches told me, said, Jan, the story you least want to tell is the one that will help the most people. And Judy, that's what you're doing. And I just applaud you. I'm so proud of you. And you are changing lives everywhere you go.
Yeah,
Thank
indeed
you.
you are. And Judy, someone's saying, wow, she was able to do it, but if I tell my story, Judy, somebody might laugh at me. If I tell my story, they're going to think something different about me, and I don't want these secrets to be out there. And it's not everybody, but it could be someone right now. And what would you say to that person that's thinking that? It's, gosh, I don't want anybody to know because that secret is in a closet or it's in another story that nobody's
I
read the
know.
chapter to.
Well, I understand that completely because I kept that to myself for many years, just clothed in shame and condemnation. But I can tell you that the moment I opened my mouth, that the truth set me free. And that was the beginning of my freedom walk. Was that when I began to share the truth of what I'd been hiding inside of me all that time with others, then I could see the fruit of helping them overcome and become exactly who they were meant to be.
So good.
Becoming who you're meant to be. Give us one idea or one step that someone could take right now to get on that right path. I know we only had so much time. You can spend a whole week talking about it. But if you're like, what? Here's one thing that I'm going to share, a golden nugget with someone that they could use right now. And you, as you're out there watching right now, the panel's okay with this. You can hit the watch party button. You can hit the share button. We believe in the giver's economy. The person that outgives the competition out-earns the competition. So you can pay this message to a little girl or a little boy or a big girl or a big boy right now, and this could create a breakthrough. So your big takeaway, as Judy is talking right now, your big takeaway, it could be someone else's big breakthrough. So hit the share button, hit the watch party button, and when that box comes up, just write "keep on going." ...
Yes.
Keep on going. ... Don't worry, I haven't forgot. Judy's going to give you this golden idea. She's ready. Like she showed up for this moment. So Judy, what's the one idea you can give them right now that's going a step that they can take to get them right on the path to living the life they want to live?
The very first step that I walk through with all of my coaching clients is you have to decide. We, unlike any other organism on the planet, we have the beauty of the ability to choose. And you've got to decide that you are sick and tired of being sick and tired enough to decide you're going to make a change.
I like it. Sick and tired of being sick and tired. I love it. Right on the spot. For those folks that are out there watching right now, Sean LeRae, who's out there. Hey, Sean, she'll be here. She was trying to get on. Doran is out there. Dori, who's out there watching. Dori, we love you. Mwah! We love all of you. All of you guys. We love all of you. I want to say just one. We love all of you. Don't send me any emails. I love all of you. I really do. But we're just talking to Dori. Hit the share button. Look right below the video. And write those words. Keep on going. Hashtag I got this. Because you got this. You got this. Okay. Last question, and then don't worry. In a moment, we'll be going over to Jan, who's over there smiling, saying, "Oh, this is so fun." We're going to find out why she said what she said. But what's one of your affirmations? Someone that's listening right now might be thinking, "Okay, I like the first step," but they might be wanting, Judy, what's an affirmation that you tell yourself on a continuous basis in order to help you stay the course, to help you stay consistent, to keep going? I know there's a lot of them, okay? But just pick one right now that comes to your mind.
Well, for me, it is still Ephesians 3:20. I mean, that is my anchor verse because I believe that his power is within me and that power is going to provide infinitely more than I can think or imagine. I mean, my heartbeat is to provide more women that I can love on and help them bind up their brokenheartedness. I mean, that's my infinitely more.
And tell folks that don't know the Ephesian verse. Can you tell them what the verse is? And if you're out there right now, you can go ahead and write this down in your notes. You can write this down in your notes. And right before I go to Jan, don't worry, I'm going to ask Rhonda, as she hears this verse, what's kind of going through her mind? Like, what is she thinking? And then don't worry, Jan will be coming up in just a second. So give them the verse, if you will. So those folks out there, some of them might have to write it down. You know it by heart because it's yours, but they're like, Shay, she didn't say what it is. I don't know. So
What is it? What is it? The secret is Ephesians 3:20. You can accomplish infinitely more by the power of him that is within you. And I know you can because I'm doing it and I'm nothing special. So let's do this deal.
Powerful. Rhonda, what's going through your mind?
That is a wonderful verse, Shay. I love that verse. I actually use it a lot myself. I think as we get older, we typically have a lot more on our plate. So the reason why I go to that verse is because I have to continuously ask God for his power, that I know that I can't do it on my own. I know I can't do the things that I need to do, the things that I need to accomplish in my own strength, that I have to ask. I have to tap into God's strength and his power. So I love that verse. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's powerful.
Of course.
So powerful. Thanks a lot for sharing. You're a rock star. You're out there making it happen all the way in Texas. You said Texas. I think you said outside of some small little place somewhere. But Texas is a big state, by the way. You know, it's bigger than a lot of states. But don't worry about it. You are rocking out. Thanks so much for sharing. Jan Goss, you're over there and you're participating. We certainly appreciate it. And you picked this topic, how to rise up fierce. And you put rise up fierce in quotes with civility. Take a moment first and define civility, because some folks don't even know, they might know what the definition of civility is. It means different things to different people. And then come back and talk about this whole rise up fierce. Why that topic and why now?
Oh, well, civility is honoring and respecting your own needs and wants and desires while not degrading someone else's in the process. And if we just boil it down, Shay, really what it is, it's basic manners. Come on. You know, it's what your grandma taught you, if you were lucky. It's the basics of life, the basics of respect. And when I say rise up fierce, I say that because we have disintegrated in our country into so much incivility, so much uncivilized behavior. And I grew up in a military family. I was born in the middle of Europe, in Munich, Germany, to a military family. And we moved 21 times in 18 years. My dad fought in 3 wars. And I understand that there was a price paid for us to have freedom. Someone had to pay a price for that to happen. And so to watch our country disintegrate into such disrespect, and you know, I will not get political, but I'm talking from the top down, whether it's a country, whether it's a business, whether it's your household. So goes the leadership, so goes the rest of the company, the country, your household. So what I am asking for is for us to rise up with fierceness. We can't just play tiddlywinks. We have to rise up and mean it for civility. We have to take a stand for civil behavior and with civility. Because if we come out swinging with both arms, then we're just adding fuel to the fire. Someone has to take a stand for respect in our country.
Yes.
For those folks that are listening, probably curious a little bit about your backstory, maybe a challenge or something that you've been through. and an idea that you can share to help them really kind of go through trials and trump, and also to rise up fierce. So take a minute or two, and I know it's hard to summarize, but kind of tell a little about your backstory. We want to know. Inquiring minds want to know. They're listening out there, and for those folks out there like Homer that says this is great, he's out there right now listening. Kathy Amos says this is wonderful. For those folks that know that this is your time, this is your moment, you're only ready to rise up and be fierce, but more importantly, you're ready to serve other folks. Look right below the video. Look right below the video and put rise up fierce. This is your moment. This is your time. You can rise up fierce and you can live your dreams. All right, Jan, a little bit about your backstory. Please tell us. We have not forgotten now.
Well, we can all rise up fierce. That's what I want you to know, regardless of your backstory. So just like Judy, I have many backstories. Everything from being a single mom of 8 children, and yes, I said 8, and going on to create a 6-figure income and purchase a home and a luxury neighborhood, do things that I never thought that I could do. But what caused me to continue moving forward, you guys, is that I had to clean my own heart. I had to keep my own inner house clean. Yes. I had to let go of the unforgiveness. I had to let go of any bitterness, or how about this one? Self-pity. Poor me. I have 16 eyes looking at me. What are we going to do? Trust me, I understand pressure. And then to go on, and that was a 20-year relationship that failed. Then to go on, and I had a 14-year relationship that failed. And the only thing I ever really wanted in life was love and family and relationship. And so everything that was the most important to me, I failed at. And so I had to make that choice to rise up within myself and not get into all of the minutia of who did what and who said what, and they were wrong and I was right. That's such uncivil behavior. We can rise up, and we can rise up fierce. And finally, in my 50s, I actually found true love. And it just, what an amazing story that Rick and I had. And that was an 8-year story. And suddenly this year, I lost him. He passed away this spring. And again, another what I call crushing of the grapes. You know, when your life is just crushed, it's like, are you kidding me again? I have to rise up again. And the answer is yes. And we have to rise up in a fierce way, reach down into that power that Judy talked about, and grab hold of the power that lives within you and rise up for what is right. For me, it is about civility. It is about respect. It is about how we treat other human beings, and seeing that we are all the same. Now let that one soak in for a minute. We are all the same. I can hear your minds. I'm not like her. I'm not like him. I am not like that person. I am not. Yes, do you know that we all smile the same? You go anywhere in this world and we have our unique smiles, but they're all the same. We all cry the same tears. Different circumstances bring them on, but the tears are the same. And we bleed the same, me with my blood type, you with yours. But we bleed the same, and we breathe in the same life force, the same air. The breath of life has been given to us all. So when we focus on our oneness, when we focus that we are all the same, it helps us be much more civil to each other.
You know, I've known you for a number of years and had a chance to break bread at your home, and you've always been the same. As I'm listening to you, I'm wondering what's going through Melissa's mind right now. And not only is she hearing the story that you're sharing, but more importantly, that we all can rise up fierce, and that we're all the same. Melissa, what's going through your mind right now?
So, Judy, it's interesting, you know, your background, just with I have a background in protocol, so civility really rings true in everything. But I've actually my family, we've dealt with some loss the past 2 years. We've had a lot of loss of young life. And just in June, I lost my best friend, 36 years old, out of the blue to a hit and run. She's a 5-year-old and was like a sister to me. And the people that see you and they know you. She was one of that. But we lost my brother-in-law last year, who was a young kid, to an opioid drug overdose. And then we lost my husband's best friend 2 years ago, dropped dead of a heart attack. And I'm not saying that as a downer. I'm saying that it's powerful to me, because you can sit in the hurt and you can sit in the grief and you can sit in it and it can cripple you, or you can take that and you can move forward, like you're saying, in fierceness and in ferocity, and say, I'm taking on this challenge. I'm not going to allow this grief to hold me back, but instead I'm going to use it to change lives. And that's what you're doing. And that impacted me so much, because I can just totally relate. And right now you're sharing that the love of your life, even though you had 8 years, you're taking those 8 years of joy and you're pushing that forward to give us life right now, even in the midst of your grief. And that's making me so fired up.
It's blessing me. As you listen out there, those folks that are out there right now, one of the things you can do is I asked Jan, what's one step that you can take to be fierce? What's another step you can take right now to be fierce? You can look right below the video. Look right below the video, and you can write those words. You can write those words. Keep on going. Hashtag you got this. And you can hit the heart button. Ebony is out there right now, blunt, and says, girl, you're preaching. I needed to hear this. As I'm listening to you right now, Sarah said, thank you so much. These are words you need to hear. Rise up fierce. Yeah. You can do this. You can do this. We're not going to leave you there, because Jan showed up to give you at least one step that you can take right now so that you can rise up. And then don't worry, I'm asking for another step so you can keep on going. See, we don't want you just to rise up. She wants you to be able to keep on going. So, Jan, that's a two-part question. Number one, what's one step they got to take? And then what's the second step they got to take just to keep on going?
Ah, that's so good. And I am ready. I am ready to help you rise up fierce, because if I can do it, so can you. And the very first thing, very similar to what Judy said, the first way to rise up fierce is you must focus on yourself to make a quality decision. And I'm going to say the word every. And if my kids listen to this, they'll know I didn't even let them use that word, because every is too big of a word. No, everybody is not mean to you. I wouldn't even let them use that word, every. And so I am telling you, we must make a quality decision that every time we will choose to take the high road. Yes. When they go low, we go high. We must make a quality decision. I'm going to take the high road. I have no control over what you do or what anyone else does, but I will take the high road. And the second step is very much akin to that. In that the second thing you do is then you be that example first within your own household. Don't talk civility and then have uncivil behavior. You walk that talk in your own household, at your own job, take it to your own community. We can change this world with that quality decision.
We can change the world, and I believe it as you're saying that. I can hear it in your heart. I hear the passion coming through. You're always so amazing. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for being open, and thanks for sharing from the heart. And as again, just like before, it's very hard to do that in a setting like this, but you did it. So thanks a lot. Let's give her a little love. Let's give her a love. Let's give her a love over. Let's give Jan a little love. She's receiving it all.
Thank you.
That's one of the things I love about Jan, by the way. If you get a chance to ever hang out with her, you got to ask her to go over that to that piano. I don't know if you still got the piano in your house, and play that piano, because she can rock and roll, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all don't know that about Jan, but I do. All right, as we're having this conversation, for those folks that are out there, don't hold this to yourself. No, don't hold this to yourself. I'm going to go to Rhonda Wood in a moment. Don't worry, we're going to find out what she's talking about. But before we do that, I want you all to hit the share button. Hit the watch party button. I see out there, Zakia says, thank you so much. This is very important to her. She's out there watching right now. They're making comments. Hit the share button. hit the watch party button, and pay this message forward. This morning, this evening, or tonight, whatever time you're watching, there's no Cash App payment needed. There's no Zelly needed. There's no swipe and succeed needed. Not on this episode. This is all about a heart to give and a heart to serve. Don't worry, I'm gonna ask them later on why they do this, by the way, but that's what they're doing right now. And so when you share this forward, you can best believe that you're paying forward a message to help improve the quality of someone's life or make a difference for someone they were called to serve. So hit the share button, hit the watch party button. For every one of you who's done that, thank you so much. It means so much to us. This is how we're able to touch lives all over the world. All right, Rhonda, who's been back there, dun, 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 getting ready. Now, Rhonda has this topic, by the way, that says, from trials to triumphs, how to grow through what you go through. Now, you're going to have to unpack that for us, obviously, and you're going to have to tell us why you picked the topic. And then you're going to have to share what's the biggest challenge that topic is helping solve right now. So I turn it over to you to do what you do best. Talk to us.
All right, Shay. So I don't think anyone would dare disagree that life can be hard. It has its ups and downs, right? We will face tough times. There's no doubt about that. We'll make mistakes. Some of them will be our own fault, and some will be through no fault of our own. But I think one of the biggest challenges that people struggle with is that the experiences and the challenges, they allow them to make them stagnant. They allow these challenges and obstacles, they kind of settle in them. They get stuck and they get stagnant. They start to feel hopeless and helpless or feel a level of uncertainty. And then we become bound by those issues and those problems, and what's going on around us. And when you look around the world, look at what's going on in the world around us, it's easy to be like, oh my God, there's so much negativity going on. There's so many things happening, and we can actually do that in our own personal lives. Sometimes we see everyone else happy and winning, and we wonder, well, what's wrong with us? And so the reason why I picked that topic, trials to triumphs, how to grow through what you go through, is that sometimes when we're going through things, these obstacles and things of that nature, the experiences that we're going through, those pains, those hurts, those hurdles, those obstacles, they're always connected to a higher power and used for a greater good. Right? Everything that you have ever gone through in your life, the good and the bad, every tear that you've cried, every joy that you've celebrated, every accomplishment, everything that we've gone through is connected to a higher power and a greater good. A lot of times, we're going through things, we don't realize it at the time, but we are learning the power and the strength that we have within us. And Shay, it reminds me of that movie Karate Kid. Remember when he was going through the training and he was doing the waxing of cars and the painting of the house? And it wasn't until later that he realized, hey, I'm basically being your servant. I don't see how this is any karate training. And then the instructor had to show him how everything that he was going through was preparing him for a higher purpose and a greater good.
So what do you say? That's so well said. Thanks a lot. You talk about going through trials, and sometimes you see them coming, right? So you made a bad decision. You're like, okay, I got to pay for this decision that I made, right? That happens. What do you say to the person that gets hit with the punch they never saw coming? And so sometimes you don't see it coming. Like you had no idea that this was going to happen. And so when it happens, my question to you, for someone that's going through something right now, they got hit, bam, with a punch they never saw coming. So what would you say to that person, number one? And then what's one of the steps they can do, because, I know when I get hit, I wobble a little bit, so they can wobble a little less so they can kind of get going again.
Right. So I think, many of us can probably relate to that. We go through things that we had no idea was going to happen. I don't think anybody thought that, this was going to happen, what we're going through now this year in 2020, and that it would even last for this long, right? And so one of the things that I think is important for people to know, one of the things that I would say is that, these obstacles or, our problems and our mistakes, they don't dictate our future. Bad chapters can still create great stories, and wrong paths can still lead to the right places. And, our visions and our goals and our dreams, they can still be realized and accomplished. And we can, those failed dreams can still produce successfulness. Sometimes it's going to take these challenges in order to be able to, as I mentioned before, have this greater good, have this higher purpose.
Yeah, when was a time maybe in your life, at any point in your life, where you had to use these skills that you're talking about now, where there was some challenge or something that hit you, and how were you able to overcome it? What was one of the skills that you used going from a trial to a triumph?
Sure, absolutely. So, I think like many of us on this panel, and I'm sure a lot of people in our audience, we can probably look back and think of a lot of difficulties that we've gone through. But for me, one of the main things that I remember going through, even as a youngster, is just experiencing a lot of loss. Multiple losses. I lost my mother to breast cancer at a young age. I lost my father to colon cancer. And after my parents passed away, I assumed the responsibility of raising 3 of my siblings. And then one of my siblings, I actually lost her. I had an older deaf sister, and I actually lost my sister to cancer as well. And I just remember feeling like, why are all of these bad things happening to me? Why does it seem like everybody else is winning? Why does it seem like everyone else is happy? And why do all of these bad things keep happening to me back to back? It was to the point where I felt like, well, I don't think I'm ever going to be happy again. I think my life is just going to be just a bunch of misery, I just don't see any good. I don't see any positiveness. And for me, I remember when I was getting grief counseling, I remember walking into my therapist's office and I sat down. And before every session, the first thing he says is, tell me something good. And I was like, wait a minute. I have 45 to 60 minutes of negative stuff to tell you. I don't have anything good. But he would not move on until I told him something good. And what it helped me to see is no matter what you're going through, there's always something good. I realized the situation I'm going through, it could always be worse, but there's always good, some level of good in everything that we're going through, everything that we've gone through.
Says so well. I'm wondering, as Judy's listening in over there, kind of what's maybe going through her mind as she's hearing you talk about. There's always some good. There's always some good. I like that. I like that. Judy, what are you thinking as you're hearing her story and what she's talking about?
Yeah. Well, first, my mama's heart wants to jump through this screen and just bring you in for a great big giant hug, Rhonda. God love you for what you've been through. Secondly is, yes, there is always a nugget in the middle of the mess. Always. Sometimes we have to look for it just a little bit harder, but there's always something that we can grab onto. And champions do that. They book in their days with gratitude. Like if you start listening to stories of champions, they start with gratitude and they end with gratitude. It's the gratitude sandwich.
The gratitude sandwich. That's pretty good. Gratitude. So I like that. That's kind of good. So as you're hearing about this gratitude sandwich, as you're listening to her, I'm wondering, Rhonda, when you think of gratitude, what are some things that someone is listening right now and it's like, you know what? I do need to reflect on what's good that's going on right now. Take a moment and maybe name 1 or 2 or 3. We'll challenge it with 4. She has more. Everybody say more. See, she has more. So you can give us 4 things that someone can be grateful for right now that are just in your heart. Doesn't mean they got to adopt them, but what's in your heart. And as you give those 4, don't worry, I'm going to ask Melissa over there, and I'm going to ask Jan over there to share something they're grateful for, by the way. So you're not alone. You only got to come up with the first 4 in the next 60 seconds. So over to you. What are 4 things people can be grateful right now, no matter what's going on in their life?
Oh, wow. I think one of the things that jumps in my mind immediately is that we are still here. We're alive, we're healthy. And if we're alive and we're healthy and we're here, that means God's not done with us yet. We still have purpose. As long as we still wake up, we're like, well, I'm still here, so God still has purpose for me. So that's one thing that I'm super grateful for. I'm grateful for relationships, whether they're family or friends, right? I'm grateful for my health. I know that, that could be a challenge right now. A lot of people are really concerned about their health. And, at some point people are probably complaining about, having to socially distance or having to sometimes, quarantine or having to stay in the house. But, it's all about perspective. Instead of thinking of it that way, say, you know what, but I'm safe and I'm healthy. And, a lot of times, hey, we're with loved ones. And even if we're not physically with them, technology has it where we're able to connect with them, even if it's virtually.
Like right now. Isn't this great? We connect with all of you out there right now. Everybody give my hand. Everybody give a little energy out there. Little energy. And you that's out there right now, you can look right below the video and you write, what are you grateful for? Like, it's not about us. It's not about Shay Brown. It's not about the panel. This is all about you. And they're focused. They're focused right now on you, but put it in the comments right below. They'll go back later. They'll be able to see the comments. Don't do it because these videos go viral. Do it because there's something in your heart you're grateful for. So I'm going to go over to Melissa, and then I'm going to go over to Jan. I'm going to ask them, hey, what are you grateful for? Give us about 60 seconds. What's one thing you're grateful for that's popped in your mind? So you first, Melissa, what are you grateful for over there?
I tell you, 2020 has been a rebirth in my life, and I am grateful. You didn't tell me I was going to be on the best of the best panel. Which is amazing when you not tell me that. So I am grateful for this moment, but I am grateful for like-minded individuals. I think the folks obviously that are on this panel, but those that are tuning in right now that are watching this or going to watch this, that something has stirred up within us in 2020. Something has risen up within me. And I feel like I am finding like minds. Businesses are getting created. The grapes are getting pressed down and wine is getting made. And it's not always pretty and it's not always clean, but boy, it sure does taste good when it's all well and done, right? And so I'm excited about what 2020 is producing in me and who it is connecting me with. And right now it's connecting me with this amazing audience and this amazing panel. And so I am stating in gratitude for like-minded sisters and brothers. And that's what I call, because we're one world. And so I call us, you're all my sisters and brothers. And I stand in gratitude for that.
I love it. Thanks for sharing. Jan, what's one thing you're grateful for and why?
I'm grateful that you can't make this up. Can I just tell you, you can't make up what's happening in this moment right now. I am so grateful for the peace that I see in every one of our hearts. We have been stomped, like the stomping of the grapes. Truly, when the grape is stumped and your insides are out and your outsides are in and you don't know which way is up and down and sideways, every one of the women on this panel, Shay, you too, we've all been through the stomping of the grapes. And look at the peace in our hearts. This joy, you guys, this is not fake. This is not some religion. This has nothing to do with any of that. Yes. This is about real spiritual connection. It's about real connection with each other and with something bigger than ourselves. That's what I'm grateful for.
Yeah, something bigger than ourselves. So Rhonda, as you're listening to the peers over there and they're sharing what they're grateful for, go ahead and share maybe a step 1 that someone can do. I think you get that right. And a step 2, and then we'll bring it down to home stretch. So what would you say to the person out there that's saying, okay, I'm ready to get going. I'm ready to keep going.
I would say to be positive. Be positive. The reason I say that, so again, I grew up with an older deaf sister. So my sister could not hear and she could not talk. My sister also had slight developmental disabilities, but she always had a smile on her face. Always had her smile on her face. And obviously her world was very different from mine. She struggled to, kind of find her norm. She struggled to fit in, but she was always positive. And so, she has transitioned. So that's one of the things that I've kind of adapted from her life is she reminds me, as I think about her life and her legacy and her memory, she always reminds me to be positive, that no matter what's going on in your life, there's always something to be grateful for, and there's always some good.
Thanks so much for sharing, man. Thanks for being open. It's been a lot of fun. I know you're not going anywhere, but this is totally amazing. And I'm touching this. Folks that are out there, Mavis says awesome work. She's out there watching now, and so many other folks. If you're out there right now, you can hit the watch party button. You can hit the share button. You can share this message into one of your private Facebook groups. It's okay. If you want to share it onto your business page, the team, the panel, they're all okay with this because they showed up for two reasons: to serve and to add value.
Yeah.
To serve and to add value. And that's what they're doing right now. So hit the watch party button, hit the share button, bless someone else right now, make a difference for another entrepreneur or another person that wants to improve the quality of their life. We believe that can happen this evening or this morning, or whatever time you're watching. Listen to the replay. It's going to work for you too. Don't worry. Yeah. All right. So now we're going to go over to Melissa. She's been back there smiling. Everybody else had to go, and she's like getting her thoughts together. And so we will say that don't worry. The best is still yet to come. The best is yet to come. Everyone on the panel, let's give Melissa a little energy. Let's give Melissa a little energy. She's like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Don't worry. Don't worry. We know you showed up for this moment. This is your moment. This is your time. So Melissa had a topic, as they all do, obviously. And Melissa's topic is, now she had a very long topic, right? So check this out. Kick butt confidence. The three characteristics she didn't say some, all confident leaders possess. Kick butt confidence. Everybody's wanting to know what in the LL Cool J are you talking about? So go ahead, talk about that kick butt confidence and why that was so important to you to start off that way.
Sure. Well, I noticed that I shouldn't have like hand punch confidence because I always am doing hand punch moves. You can't see my kicks, but kick butt confidence is for me, 2020, like I said, I saw the rug get pulled out from so many of us. So the rug just got pulled out from our world. I will not say the United States. I know this is an international program, and the rug got pulled out from under us. And what I saw happen immediately, especially when we moved into this remote isolation, I saw people and I saw leaders panic. I saw the fear set in. I'm talking about C-suite 100 level leaders panic because they were worried that their people were not going to deliver. They were worried about, obviously everything that was going on, being responsible for all this stuff. And they were, people were getting laid off, furloughed. I mean, our economy, we've never seen anything like this, I think, since in our lifetimes, at least, that has hit us this hard. And what I saw, it broke my heart specifically because I saw that where when you don't have confidence, something else shows up. So you either have it or you don't. And what was showing up was this fear, and it was being portrayed in all these different characteristics. And so I decided it took me a journey to live and lead in confidence. I did not become confident overnight. And I want to can I bust one myth for you right now?
Yeah.
Right now, one myth that I want to bust for you is that confidence does not equal cocky. And I lived and worked in DC for a long time. I know, we talked about the DC connection. There's a lot of cocky people walking around Washington, DC that do not have confidence. Okay. So confidence does not equal cocky. Confidence does not equal energetic. That is not what confidence looks like. Confidence is something that's instilled deep within. And when you are walking and living in confidence, you project differently to the world. And so when I saw that, and I believe everyone can possess this inner confidence, It is not some mystic thing that you're born with that you have to only have. No, you don't have to be Melissa that's singing out on stage at 2 years old. That does not mean what confidence is. And so I know it's for everyone, but I just saw leaders struggling and people struggling so much so in doubting themselves. There was so much self-doubt going on. And Che, you know, I've been doing a lot of coaching, and I'm coaching equally women. I just had a session right before this with a woman, but I've been coaching a lot of men as well that are struggling in this area. And it's been on my heart. And so I decided that let's talk about this, what we really can hone into to walk with true confidence. What does that look like in our business? What does that look like when it shows up in our family? What does that look like when it shows up in our friendship, in our community? What does that look like, sound like, feel like, and what deliverables come from walking and owning true confidence?
Well, don't leave us on the cliff. I mean, don't just leave us there. We're all into this thing. We're like, okay, Shay, what is she going to say? Like, what's one idea? She said, I can walk in confidence. So she has 3 characteristics, and obviously you can't get into all that time. You all be part of the Comeback Champion Summit, so they can go hear a lot more. But you got to tell us something. So what's 1, 2, or 3 characteristics for folks that want to have this confidence? They want to walk in it. Like, this is our moment. This is our time.
Shay, I'm telling you, I'm saving those 3. Those 3 are for the conference, but I'm going to give you guys an extra one because there are a few more. And the first one is what our audience is doing right now. It is never stop learning. Confident people, being confident means you are confident enough to know what you don't know and know where you need to get the resources, whether that's seeing a coach, whether that's seeing a strategist, whether that's taking up a certificate, whether it's being with like-minded people. Confident people are confident enough to know, say, I don't know that, or I'm not, and they're also confident enough to know that I'm going to get the resources to do that, or I'm going to partner with somebody that has those resources. Yes. I say in my speech, you know, that I'm very confident and I live this confidence, but please don't send me to the NASA headquarters because I cannot help you land that space station. As confident as I am, I don't have those skills. So confident leaders know what they have and know what they don't, and they work on finding out those tools to build that. So that's one thing that all confident leaders walk in, is that they continue learning.
So what do you say spot on to the person we had a call a couple of months ago? Was a young lady called in and she said, hey, look, I'm now a full-time worker at home. I'm a full-time wife. I'm a full-time mom. I'm a full-time school teacher because she has 2 kids in elementary school and 1 in junior high. I'm a full-time cafeteria worker because I'm doing more cooking than I've ever done before in my life. I'm also a full-time administrator because I got to turn in their homework. And at the same time, I'm trying to get this business off the ground. And I feel guilty because I'm trying to block out while I do this. Now, I don't know if that has to relate to confidence, but to me, and it could be a guy. Again, I don't want to just say it's just a woman's problem. But my question to you would be, what do you do or say to the person that has so much going on at one time that the confidence might be there, but the lack of certainty kind of makes them stall for a moment and makes them pause. So it's not the confidence, it's the lack of certainty in the midst of so much going on. What words would you share to them? What would be your advice as they're listening? And it could be anyone that's listening right now that has so much going on.
That story is resonating across our nation and our world right now. So the 2 things that I would share, and one does definitely, they both go along the lines of confidence, but they also go along the lines of knowing yourself. The first is confident people. And right now in this time, you have got to let go. I am very big on mindset these days, and that's been a term that's for another time. But you have got to let go of the judgment of others and the judgment that you are putting on yourself. So you're a cafeteria worker, you're a teacher, you're an entrepreneur, you are a housekeeper, you're doing all this. So guess what? It's not going to be perfect. So you need to let that judgment of what you perceive other people think, because other people don't care. Let me just tell you, they don't care. They're not judging you. We're all doing the best. So number 1, let it go. Let that guilt go. Number 2, stop judging yourself. So 1, stop letting others judge you. Number 2, stop judging yourself. And number 3, you're trying to get that business off the ground. Let me encourage you. There is abundance. We have been lied to for years. We have been lied to for years that, there's not enough. Well, I see she's starting this business, so I can't, that's going to stall me out. I shouldn't go. Or I see these talented, I'm here on this panel with these amazing people. Well, what do I have? No, let me tell you, there is abundance. So change your mindset and know, guess what? Take a breath, take a beat, and keep going in your mission, what you were called to do, because there are people you need to show up for. There's abundance. Change that mindset.
Yes.
Yeah, change your mindset. Jan, what's going through your mind? You're hearing change your mindset. And, don't worry, Melissa. We're going to come back to Melissa, and we're going to ask her, what does she say to the person that feels like they have the imposter syndrome going on right now? So they're faking it to the best they can, but deep down, they're like, man, I feel like an imposter. I'm trying to act like this, but it's not there. But first, let's see what Jan has to say as she's listening to you speak right now. What's on your heart, Jan?
Woo, Melissa, that's what's on the heart. You go, girl. Our minds are a creation machine. They are one of the most amazing gifts that we have ever been given in life. And that is how things are created. Everything is twice created, first in the mind and then in the exterior world. So yes, we must take charge over this beautiful, amazing mind, this creation machine that we've been blessed with.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Melissa, talk to us about the imposter syndrome. The person says, let me frame the conversation a little differently. The question might be, do I fake it till I make it? That might be the question. And then if I'm faking it till I make it, but I feel like an imposter because I'm kind of faking it. I don't have the confidence, but I'm trying to rock with it. I'm trying to rock with it. And that happens for entrepreneurs. It happens in relationships. It happens every day. And I've been in there myself. I'm probably the only one watching that's been there, by the way. But what do you say to folks that have been there and going through that? And how do they help the confidence become real? So they move from the quote unquote fake it till you make it imposter syndrome to really having that self-confidence.
That's a great question. And I struggled with that for years. And I think that a lot of us, that is probably the number one of our biggest challenges, just like Jane said, what happens in the mind. And I think that a lot of us, I just finished out with a gentleman who he really was blocked. He was held probably captive for about 5 years, trapped in his mind because he did have this imposter syndrome. He was working in the educational system, but he's an entrepreneur. He has all these ideas and he was frozen because he didn't think he was good enough. And imposter syndrome, it starts back and it is triggered. It is built into you. It is wired into our brains, either from the way we were raised with parents, with religion, with the school teachers, with spouses, with family members. And we start believing with society, I'm not the right color. My hair is too curly. My eyes, I'm too bubbly. I'm too this. I don't have this degree. I don't have that degree. And so you start it's all blocked there. It's all in the mind. And I am not someone. And so Jane, I just love this connection so much. I was not big into mindset until a few years ago. I didn't even understand the power that had and the freedom that working in that had, the freedom that affirmations had, and the freedom that understanding the gifts and abilities that I have. So, I shared what great people that have confidence, they never stop learning. The other thing that great people of confidence have is they recognize what they are good at. They recognize and applaud themselves what they are good at, and they step it back. I think we are so hard on ourselves, especially entrepreneurs. We are so judgmental, and we are looking at everything. We want perfectionism. Perfectionism is that's not attainable. Excellence is attainable. Excellence, that's a goal we can meet. But I would encourage the person that's dealing with imposter syndrome to do a couple of things. To one, step back and look at what they're doing right. Look at where they're excelling. Look at where they're called. And I would also say, work with a mindset coach, work with a life strategist to really get your head in the game. Because I believe I'm living proof that it happens to, you can be sitting with the Queen of Jordan and just have left, a wonderful dinner at her palace and walk out thinking you're not good enough and cry in a bathroom stall. True story. So we all deal with that. And I think it's to take a step back, really examine where you're at, acknowledge your strengths, write them down. This is true. This is what leaders do. I'm telling you, top C-suite 100 leaders, they write down what they're good at. They have it on a sticky note. Or if they're Jeff Bezos, it's probably some spreadsheet Excel that's like floating around their head, but they have it written there. So it's a reminder. So when that little voice comes and tells you, oh, you're not good at public speaking, you're not good at this, you have a thing that says, well, you know what? I'm really good at freaking landing the NASA space station. So boom, there's where I'm at.
Boom, where's that? Another drop the mic moment, ladies and gentlemen. And we're getting a lot of drop the mic moments. They just drop them all over the place, and you're at the right place at the right time. if you know that this is your time. So look right below the video as you're listening to Melissa. Don't worry, I'm going to ask them in a moment. I'm going to ask them when they hear the word comeback champion, what goes through their mind, what is a comeback champion. Then I'm going to ask them what's one of the habits of a comeback champion. I'm going to do that. But before we do that, I want you to share this message because they're going to be sharing one of the habits and characteristics of a comeback champion. And don't worry, I'm going to go in the order that you went into so y'all don't all get confused. All the viewers at home, I'm going to start with the one and only Judy King. Don't worry, she's been waiting. Done. She's fired up. She can't wait to tell you what it means to be a comeback champion. And she can't wait to tell you like one of the habits so you can make sure you have the habit, right? And we can all learn. So as you're doing that, hit the watch party button. Hit the share button. Pay this message forward. For all of you joining out there right now, you're a champion. You are a winner. You can look right below the video and write that affirmation. Put, I am a champion. Hashtag, now is the time.
Yes.
So now is the time to move from the imposter syndrome. Now's the time to rise up fierce. Now's the time to go from trials to triumph. Now is the time for you to what? Kick confidence in the butt. This is your moment. And they're going to walk you through there. And you might hear a little bit of scratching. That's probably because Melissa, your headset's moving around because you got those nice earrings on. You know, they jingle. So they're rubbing against your microphone. So that's probably what they hear a little bit. Okay, for those folks that are out there right now, we're going to go to the one and only Judy. And Judy's now going to tell you what is the number one skill of a comeback champion. And then we're going to let the gremlins, you guys are doing it for the gremlins. Go. Here we go. So we'll have the
sprinkle the magic dust on the camera.
And the gremlins have been doing really well. They've been doing really well. Okay, over to you, Judy. I see Melissa. You rock. What is a comeback champion when you hear those words? And more importantly, we want to know what's one of the habits of a comeback champion.
So tenacity. Tenacity is the number one quality that a comeback champion must have. You get your butt kicked, you get back up. You get your butt kicked, you get back up. And you keep doing that. It's like rinse and repeat. Totally. Thomas Edison made 1,000 light bulbs before one worked. So a comeback champion gets their butt kicked and they get back up.
Gets their butt kicked and gets back up. I'm loving it. All right, let's go over to the one and only Jan. When you hear those words, what is a comeback champion? That's what we're answering right now. And what's one of the habits or one of the characteristics of a comeback champion?
Well, one thing a comeback champion always does is comes back. Like, you see me again. You thought I was down, but here I am. We get raised from the dead. That's what we do.
Yes.
And the one habit that I would say a comeback champion has, and it certainly has been true in my life, is we must, non-negotiable, we must get still on a daily basis. I know that sounds backwards because we think we got to go, come back. Oh, la. We have to be still and listen on a daily basis.
Be still.
That's good.
And listen. Yeah, I love it. Great stuff. Thanks a lot for sharing. Rhonda, talk to us. What's your definition of a comeback champion? And what's one of the habits that every comeback champion must have in order to what? Come back, obviously.
Yes. So I believe a comeback champion is someone who has, at some point during their life journey, stumbled across challenges or difficulties, discovered the strength that they possess inside in order to overcome those challenges or difficulties, and uses that comeback experience to not only inspire others, but to help them to achieve the same. That's what makes them a champion.
Yes.
And I believe the number one characteristic, and I think there's many, but if I had to just pick just one, I would say persistence.
Mm-hmm.
So the definition of persistence is to continue firmly in a course of action despite difficulty or opposition, and obstinately refusing to let up or let go. So persistency, in my opinion, is the number one characteristic of a comeback.
Thank you so much for sharing. We appreciate that. Melissa, when you hear the word a comeback champion, what's the definition and what's one of the habits of a comeback champion?
Oh, the comeback, I think of a fighter. I think of the fighter that's just got knocked down. It looks like what is it, the TK, knocked out. Like they look like they're done. I'm going to date myself when I was a Vander Holyfield box, fan. Like, that's my picture in my head of what it takes, of what it looks like to still step back up, even when you have been beat so many times and you're still putting yourself back in the ring. And I think, a comeback is when you have been broken and you have been beaten, but instead of shriveling up, you turn toward others. I think that's what it looks like. To me, that's what a champion looks like. That's what a comeback looks like. You don't go and hide in a cave, in a hovel, in a way, and take yourself away from the world, but you show your face and you turn towards other. And maybe that means asking for help, but it goes into my one characteristic that all champions have. And this, I hope it doesn't step on toes. I'm from the South, so we say stepping on your toes. But what comeback champions do, and this is very hard to do if you are still from the knockdown position, but you cheer others on and you celebrate with them.
Yeah.
You cheer them on and celebrate
Absolutely.
with them. And that is the champion mindset. That is the winner mindset. Nothing makes me more excited and more happy when I see at the end of a game, people high-fiving, good game, the loser and the winner. Nothing makes me more excited when I'm here with like-minded people where we're lifting each other up. That's what champions do. And maybe we have just lost a big client, or maybe we are, somebody's right now, they're like, listen, I just lost my job, or I'm dealing with caretaking or whatever. It's so hard to cheer others on, but that's because there is abundance, and your time is going to come again. It's not the end. This knockdown is not the knockout. And so that's what I believe a comeback champion does. You cheer people on and you bring them with you when you come back stronger.
I love that. For those folks out there listening right now and they're watching, we appreciate every one of you. Look below the video and write those words. Cheer others on.
Yes.
Cheer others on. And you can be happy for someone else. And you can do that without jealousy, without malice, without being like, oh, why not me? Don't worry about that. Just cheer people on. We talk about cheering people on. You might be wondering, like I am, why do these ladies do what they do as we come down the home stretch? I mean, certainly one thing I know is that all of them that are watching right now, and all of you and all the one on the panel, they all can make more money. I'm confident of that. But none of them on the panel can make more time. And so they've given us the most precious gift they have right now, which is their time. Time away from their family, time away from their business, time away from doing things that they really, really want to do to serve and to be here. So I'm going to ask them, why do they do this? Like, what's their big why? They do what they do every single day. I'm going to go reverse back. I'm going to start with Melissa, then we'll go to Jan. Rhonda, Rhonda, and then Jan. I'm doing it myself. I only got 5. You think I can move the dominoes around just to break it up? And so go ahead right now. Take a moment, Melissa, if you would, and tell us in the next minute or so, what's your big why?
My big why, I think I talked about in the beginning, it's relationship. It's relationship. And I have a multitude of comeback stories. And my goal is to I want 1 million people. I want to have a ripple effect to touch 1 million lives. I want people to be lit. I want them to be leaders. I want them to be influencers, and I want them to be transformers. I want them to transform their lives, and I want them to be instilled and have the ability to transform others. I do not want one more person to live in the prison of their mind, of their self-doubt, of the lies that they've been fed to them. I want people to walk in freedom, because I believe extraordinary lives do not happen on accident. And so I feel like it's my God-given gift and duty, and what makes me burn bright is, I guess, let me tell you, my biggest pet peeve is wasted potential. I hate wasted potential. I can't stand it. I can't stand seeing talent sitting there by the wayside. So I'm here for people to get lit. I want them to lead, I want them to influence, and I want them to transform themselves and others, because I believe that we are here for a purpose, that no life is an accident, that you are on this earth for a purpose and a mission. Your life has power and your life has value. And if you can't see it, I want to help you see it. That's kind of my
Love
why.
it. Thank you so much for sharing. Rhonda Wood, what's your big why?
My big why is, I think I touched on this a little bit earlier, is that I'm still here. I'm still here, which means God's not done with me yet. And I feel like the reason I am here, the reason I was put on this earth, the reason I'm still walking the earth is because I have so much to give. I've overcome so many things that a lot of people, like I've successfully overcome a lot of the things that people are currently struggling with. And so I want to be able to help other people overcome their struggles. I want to take who I am and what I have and use it for a purpose far greater than me. I absolutely love to, since we're talking about champions, I love to champion the successes and the wins and the accomplishments and the potential of other people. That's why I'm here.
Thank you so much for sharing. Thanks for being here. We appreciate that. All right, Jan, what's your big why? Why do you get up every single day? Why do you show up for programs like you are now? I know for some folks, they're doing other things right now. It depends on where they are in the world, right? But I know for you, this is like another sacrifice, but you're here and you don't have to do this. So why?
Very good question. And, it feels a little self-centered what I'm about to say, but I'm going to tell you the truth. This is from the bottom of my heart. I live my life on a daily basis for an audience of one.
Wow.
That's it. And my motivating factor, why I get out of bed, why I do what I do, why I touch the lives I touch, why I, spend the hours I do doing what I do, is to hear two words. Well done. I live to hear those two words. Well done. Dr. Miles Monroe said this, and when he said it, he shook me to my core. He pointed his finger and he said, "Do not go to your grave with one gift left inside of you."
Yep.
And it shook me to my core. And I thought, I don't know if I have a gift. I don't even know if I have a gift. I don't know if there is a gift, but I'm going to get it out. Like that year, I produced an album. I wrote a book. I was like, I don't know if this is a gift, but I'm going to get it out. Like I want to get that out of me because I want to hear, well done. That's my motivation.
Awesome.
Thanks for sharing. So awesome. Judy, this time you're last, not first. Because the best is still yet to come. They want to know your big why. Why is Judy here? Why does Judy do what she does every single day with so much purpose, so much passion, and so much enthusiasm? Why?
Well, there was a moment in my journey where I heard very clearly, I have called you to bind up the brokenhearted. That's why he gave me a big old mama's heart. Like, I'll just bring you in and love you up until my favorite thing in the whole wide world is to see that light bulb moment in somebody's eyes when I know they heard what I said and they can start moving toward the truth of who they are and whose they are.
Wow. Very powerful. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank all of you for being on this panel. Why don't you give yourself a hand? Why don't you give yourself a hand for just showing up, for just being here? But not a hand for you. You're giving a hand for the audience. Give the audience a hand for showing up. Give the audience a hand for being in there, for hanging in. You've shared. All of you have a heart to give. You have a heart to serve. I want to thank you so much for being on the Happy Entrepreneur Show. Thanks for sharing a piece of you with us, because as you leave, a piece of you will stay here with us. These stories will be with us. This energy will be with us. And I know it with 100% confidence that you've changed a life. And we're looking forward to connecting with all of you over at the Comeback Champion Summit. It's going to be amazing. Y'all make sure y'all connect with all of them. Y'all are Google them, I know. Okay, I know y'all saw the email. You got their names. Connect with all of them. They're all rock stars, just like you. And so with that being said, let me say thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Make sure you hit the share button. make sure you hit the watch party button. Hit the like button. Pay this message forward to someone else so you can make a difference. Yeah, you're going to cheer them on, but you're also going to make sure they have the resources that are necessary to execute those visions they have for themselves, for their loved ones, and for the people they were called to serve. With that being said, I want you to know that the best is yet to come. The best is yet to come, that you are a comeback champion. And for those folks that are curious, my name, by the way, is Shay Brown, the happy entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. And I promise you from the bottom of my heart, we'll make some good things happen. We connect again next time. Remember that time is long. Life, on the other hand, is very, very short. So you got to live in the moment, and you got to make it count. God bless. We wish you success. Thanks a lot, ladies. I'll see you again soon. Y'all are rocks. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Thank all y'all for hitting the share button. We appreciate you. Peace. We're out of here. Promise I made to my mom. I only did this message for one person, and that's my mom. This is for you, Mom. Love you. My name is Shay Brown, the happy entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Shay Brown.
Mic check, mic check.
All I do is win, no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up.
Yes. Yeah.
And they stay there. And they stay there, and they stay there. Cause all I do is win.
Yeah. Thank you. God bless.